Alright, it's time for me to give you my ranking of my top 10 favorite Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes. So I'm going to mention the episode, talk a little bit about it, and move on to the next episode. But I have 10. Once I get done with 10 to 2, I'll give you my list of honorable mentions, and then we'll go on to number 1. Okay, doing it this way. So number 10 is The Tale of the Super Specs from season 1. This story, told by Gary, is about a high school couple named Weeds, and I believe his girlfriend's name is Lori. Something like that. They're at the Magic Mansion. Yes, this is. I think the first episode we see Sardo, and Weeds performs a spell, and with magic dust goes over these specs. They buy a pair. Whenever Lori puts it on, she can see strange people all dressed in black. I almost worded that very wrong. Strange people all dressed in black. And later she finds out that they're actually people from another dimension. Weeds doesn't believe her at first, but then they're brought in. They go to Sardo, and Sardo uses magic, or at least he tries to close what he says is the cosmic seal, but it turns out that the strange lady she was seeing is actually a powerful sorceress, and as Gary reveals, she was this powerful sorceress. Sardo was a fake, and the cosmic seal was changed. I always like the bait and switch at the end of this episode where you see these two kids, and it takes you a second. Wait, those aren't the same kids. But they dress them exactly the same as the other two, as Weeds and Lori, but it's not the same. It's, pretty fun episode. Number 9 is The Tale of Station 109.1 from season 5. It's one of only 2 stories told by the character of Stig. Stig was brought in season 5 as Frank's replacement, and you can tell he's just there to even up the cast. He gets 2 stories, and after he's accepted, he's done. This is the story that gets him in, ? I think this is the one that gets him in. I can tell you that. Hold on. Yes, this is the second story. Actually, I was wrong. This is the second of 2 stories told by Stig, and it's about a kid who is obsessed with death, and his brother tries to snap him out of it, so he locks him in a hearse. While in the hearse, he hears a radio station 109.1 telling where you need to go after you've died to help them pass on to the next world. He gets there, and he is mistaken by Gilbert Gottfried, the guy, Gilbert Gottfried, to be a dead person. The real dead person shows up to the brother, played by Ryan Gosling, and tells him, "I'm the real Daniel Carpenter, and you have to help me." They get there, but it's too late. I don't think so. Pushes him into the abyss, but of course he's not dead, so this is the story that gets Stig in. I don't think it's better than the other story he tells, which is higher up on this list, if you know what story that is. But this is the one that gets him in, and the other one doesn't. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that later, but it's still a good one. Number 8 is Tale of Midnight Madness from season 2. Our second look at Dr. Vink in this episode from season 2, and it's told by Frank, of course. In this episode, they focus on something that, unfortunately, a lot of movie theaters are going to be going through nowadays. Not enough business, and they're very close to shutting down. Dr. Vink shows up and says, "You add this movie, and I guarantee you, or you play this movie, and I guarantee you, you will get people showing up." Owner of the theater thinks he's a kook, puts it in the back, ignores it. Until one day, the 2 teenagers who work there are like, "You know what? We have to do something," so they play the movie, he gets a lot of people, and then Fink shows up and goes, oh, whatever. I don't want money. I want 1 day a week to play my movies, and he won't give it to him. And then we have a basic vampire story. It's a Nosferatu coming out of the movie theater and biting almost everyone except for our 2 main characters. Eventually, they were to vanquish him. Dr. Vink shows up, and the owner's like, you know what, I'll give you your day, I'll give you whatever. And he's like, it's too late. I own this theater. Every day is my day, Nice little twist at the end. Pretty good episode. I need something to drink. Sorry. My throat gets dry from talking so much. What is here? Number 7 is Tale of the Chameleons from season 5, told by Betty Ann. It's the story of a teenage girl played by one of the Mowry sisters. I think it's Tia Mowry. Tamara plays the other one. She's there with her friend. She wants to buy this dress. Her parents say she can't buy it. And then they end up in this pet store where their mom is. And she gets bit by this chameleon. This little red-headed brat says, bite you once, bite you twice. A little water, pay the price. The chameleon then sneaks away into the bag of groceries and ends up in the house. And I always laugh at the fact that they never catch the chameleon. But it bites her again, this time on the torso. Turns into a double version of her, throws water on her, and she takes over her life. Eventually, her best friend figures out what's going on, and it ends up, bite once, bite twice, and then there's 2 of them, because the Mowry sisters can be on screen together, and eventually, the best friend thinks she's figured it out, and they throw water on the other one, and throw all the chameleons into the well. However, through a clever twist, it's revealed it was actually the chameleon messing around. I do want to point out that it doesn't work that way. You've turned the real one back into human. She has to be bitten again twice to be turned back into a chameleon. And I think they ignored that so that we could have the twist. But it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. Next, we have number 6. The Tale of the Doll Maker from season 3. I know you're going to roll your eyes with this one, but this one really got me when I was a kid, right? Once again, told by Betty Ann. And I, going through this, never realized how much I liked her stories over the others. I always said that Gary was my favorite storyteller, and I think I only have one of his stories on here. So So anyway, so it's a story about this little girl. She goes to visit her grandparents, or aunt and uncle, something like that. And she always had a little friend next door named Susan, but Susan and her family supposedly moved away, but she finds this dollhouse in the attic. She starts to explore, but she's told not to go in the house because something's going on. But she does explore and ends up in the dollhouse. Turns out that you go in the dollhouse and it turns you into a doll. I know, but I always like this episode. The whole forced perspective they do where you're in the dollhouse and she's in the dollhouse and she opens, like, the weird door in the house, in the attic, just leads to nowhere. You open it up, it leads to the dollhouse. But in the dollhouse, you open it up and it leads to outside, like it normally should. And I like that. In the end, she does rescue Susan. And then there's this narration by Betty Ann that says they wonder where the door would lead to now. It's probably just going to lead outside, but it's weird to have a door up there anyway, but, decent episode. Alright, number 5 is A Tale of the Dark Music from Season 1, told by the Season 1 only character, Eric, and it's the story of a kid named Andy who's moved to a new neighborhood. He gets picked on by this bully. He discovers there's something going on in the basement, something that his distant relative had to deal with. They found him dead at the bottom of the stairs. Obviously, this thing killed him, whatever it was. Through a series of circumstances, he finds out that music opens up this door. You get this really creepy dog-like person. There's the, come on, Angie, things. Creepy episode. In the end, though, he tricks the bully named Coda down into the basement, locks him in there, has music blaring, and when he goes down there, Coda is gone and he's got a brand new bike. And the episode ends with you leading to believe he's going to feed his sister to this thing. Although Eric does say that he doesn't, but who knows. Good episode. Number 4 is, it's the most fun in the park when you're laughing in the dark. That's right. Tale of the Laughing in the Dark. This one has first of 2 appearances from Christian Tessier, who would also be in the Tale of the Curious Camera. And he plays a kid. I forget his name. But he's best friends with a kid named Ouija and his little sister. And they talk about this fun house at Playland, which is, mentioned in Silverside. And there's this haunted house. There's a legend of a clown that used to work at the carnival at Playland that robbed the bank and then ran into the fun house, but dropped a cigar in there and the whole place sat on fire and he died, and so his ghost haunts the place. So Ouija dares Josh, his name is Josh, I remember now, to go in and steal the nose. Now, this is a weird one for me because normally it's the good kid that is forced in by the bratty kid, the naughty kid, to go in and do this. But it's the shitty kid who's he's our antagonist. We follow him, which is really weird because he plays a bully in a later episode too. So, but yeah, and it's a very creepy episode. There's cigars, smells, and I do like it when he goes to do the spaghetti or whatever. And he pulls it out, it's cigars, which is really weird. And then, he puts way too much silverware on the table sitting for that. And he spills the pudding, and that's unforgivable, man. But, yeah, the episode ends with him returning the nose and giving the guy cigars. Where did he buy those? How could he buy those? Who knows? It's Canada. And, yeah. If I didn't mention it, Betty Ann also tells the story. Number 3 is Tale of the Dead Man's Float. The first story by Stig, and by far the best story by him, although they should have done 109.1 first, then this one, because this is a good episode. It's this kid named Zeke, who is afraid of water. Something happened back in the 50s that we are shown. Something drowned this little kid, and now Zeke, now in the 90s, has found what's left of the pool, and has gone to this girl named Clarice, played by the girl from Mighty Ducks 3, and her best friend is Lori from Big Wolf on Campus. So, yeah, and she was able to get the pool moving again, but the creature comes back. And I love this. Especially when it's invisible and they use that methyl orange to be able to show what he looks like. And just the effects work put into this creature. It's probably the best effects work in the series. It's fantastic looking. I love it. Every time I see it, it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. It's fantastic. Of course, they thwart it by exploding it. Everything's happy ending, so. Number 2 is Tale of the Night Shift from Season 5, told by Sam. It's the only one I have from Sam on here, but it's a good one. There's this girl, this teenage girl, she's working a night shift, and she's introduced to this new girl, a night shift at a hospital, I should say. New girl, and one of her schoolmates is getting his tonsils removed, so he's there. And then people start to disappear, one by one. including Felix, who would go on to be a Power Ranger, the Navy Thunder Ranger in Power Rangers Ninja Storm later on. So, yes, it turns out there's a vampire about. I love vampire episodes, so there's that. And, they thwart the vampire, of course. But, the effects on this vampire, he's green, but he's mean, and he's really, the actor who does it. I like how they have different actors. Like, they have the female actor. Spoiler alert, of course. It's revealed that the new girl is the vampire in disguise. Meh, Felix is able to overcome his vampirism to help the other guy push the thing in and the coffin into the fire, and supposedly destroying the coffin kills a vampire because it's a kids show and we can't have stick in the heart in the kids show. So, but it's a fun episode and it's one of the ones I love rewatching. So, okay, before I go on to number 1, here's my honorable mentions in order of what season they are, so it's easier for me. Tale of the Phantom Cab from season 1, told by Frank. Good first episode. Introduces us to Dr. Vink. Fantastic. My favorite party episode. You could say, I saw it died. Ha ha ha. Tale of the Prom Queen. I believe this is told by Kristen. And it's a nice little twist at the end, where it's revealed that Dee Dee, the girl they've been helping, is actually the ghost of the prom queen. So it's a nice twist there. Tale of Locker 22. Not exactly sure who tells this one off the top of my head, but it's another one that changes history, much like Curse of the Shadows, where they go back and they prevent a school fire, and then they find out that Candy Warren, the girl that they saved, is now the principal. Nice little twist. Tale of Old Man Corcoran. Talk about your twists. You move to a new neighborhood. These kids, they want to play hide and seek with you in a graveyard. They tell you about Old Man Corcoran and how he's a ghost. But it turns out he's the one that's alive and all these kids are the ghosts. Nice little twist. I think Kiki tells that story. Tale of the Quicksilver. This, 2 brothers move with their family into this new house and they discover that there's a ghost there. There's actually 2 ghosts, a good one and a bad one. And the good one is actually the ghost of Tatiana Ali's character, from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And they're able to do the ritual the right way and get rid of the evil ghost. Tale of the Dream Girl is your forced perspective kind of story. Like, you have a perspective. It's the episode that inspired The Sixth Sense, actually, because you have Johnny and Jelly and his sister, and he works at this bowling alley. But it's revealed he finds this ring in his locker. He puts it on. He starts seeing this girl everywhere, and it's revealed that he and the girl actually died. And you gotta go back and you gotta rewatch this and see. Oh yeah, they're not directly talking to him in any scenes. Nice little twist, Tale of the Curious Camera from season 3. I think. I don't know. It's almost the same as Goosebumps. In fact, the same guy who plays Spidey in Goosebumps is in this as the cameraman. He gives Finch from American Pie a camera. The camera has a gremlin in it, so every picture that it takes is a bad picture. The gremlin's going to ruin something. Nice little thing. It does leave with a tease that the gremlin is now in the camcorder, and then they get rid of it. It leaves the tease is actually that it's in the computer. So, oopsie. Tale of Dangerous Soup. Dr. Vink is back. Of course, Frank tells his story, and it's Dr. Vink now owns a restaurant, and his biggest seller is the Dangerous Soup, and the secret ingredient is fear. Leading to one of my favorite lines of this series. It knows what scares you. And it also has, hello, Sydney, from Scream. Name, Campbell. Nev Campbell. She's in this. Nice little thing at the end where it looks like he's still going to be able to continue because the gargoyle comes back in there after it flies away. nice little, facing your fears episode, even though the twist ending implies there's still more fears. I don't know. Tale of the Quiet Librarian. I forgot I had this on here. This one did kind of creep me out. The librarian stuff kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters, but it turns out she's been taking away kids' voices because she wants to quiet this evil ghost librarian and taking away their souls. They imply this by saying there's cobwebs all over them, but these two kids, they save the day, And two more. Tale of Long Ago Locket. This one has Eric from Boy Meets World in it. He finds this locket. He's taken back to revolutionary times, and it's another change history episode. He helps the guy to Harrisburg, and it changes history. And it's a nice little episode. It's not too scary, but it's a nice episode. And the Tale of Badge. Badge is this ancient creature locked away in a crystal, is accidentally released, and only the Centerwind, which is now this little girl who's been passed on, can put him back. Nice little story. So, number one, and if you don't know what it is, because I haven't mentioned it, it's told by Betty Ann. It's from season 4. It's The Tale of the Ghastly Grinner. My favorite. And again, if I was counting the multi-parts, this spot would be Silver Sight. Because I'm not counting those. The Ghastly Grinner is number 1. Ethan is an aspiring artist, but no one likes his stuff. He gets an invitation to a comic book store where the lady who owns the place tells him about Sylvester Uncas, and how he was unable to finish his comic book. Like, he made a comic book called The Ghastly Grinner, but it was so evil that it came to life and took Uncas into the comic book. He was in the middle of writing a way to stop him when the Grinner took him. So she thinks that Ethan, or Cakes as she calls him, can finish the comic book. And you also have this nerdy girl that ends up being a love interest that helps him out. Pretty cool episode. It implies that his parents only care about money because, they want nothing to do. Oh, you need to get away from this stuff, Ethan. You need to focus on your schoolwork. And then once they learn they can make money off us, we always encouraged Ethan to follow his dreams. Yeah, right. But yeah, I love the episode, and the Gaster Grinner, the way he looks is fantastic. It's like the Joker and the Trickster smooshed together. It's really cool. How he turns people into laughing idiots is really funny. The girls, how microwaves are brought in. They're not just for cooking your hot dogs, people. But yeah, that's number 1. By my count, I have 4 stories told by Betty Ann in my top 10. So I'm gonna have to change that now. People will say, "Oh, who's your favorite storyteller?" And I say Gary. Gary or Tucker, because I like their characters, but I don't have one story from Tucker on here. I only have one Gary story on here, so I'm going to say Betty Ann from now on, because obviously, with 4 of them, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on my top 10? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.